I directed the first production of this production. It's a co-production with Des Moines Opera. So I've directed this production once before last June in Des Moines. And this is the second time. Same production, but with a different cast. This one is particularly beautiful, very lyrical, and also very gritty. It doesn't ignore the subject matter. It's very easy to forget in certain operas what the actual subject matter is, because like Traviata, it's very, very glamorous. It's about a glamorous woman, but a woman who was whose way of making a living was pretty dubious. I have brought 4 ghosts on stage who are a replica of Violetta, but are all in white and transparent tones, and you see them all through walls and walking in the parties, in and out of whatever. Nobody sees them, but it's like having a draft of cold air, seeing these ghosts walk around, and they all look like Violetta because they all represent the young women who came to Paris or to any big city without money, without prospects, illiterate, most of them. They came from the country, and there was only one way of surviving. You go to the opera to really be moved. I keep quoting somebody, and I don't know who it is, who said, you go to the opera to have your life sung back at you. So when I go to the opera, if I don't recognize part of my life here and there, I'm not interested. I like performances to be extremely hot, or why bother? And the only thing that I ever do is go word for word. What did the guy write? What is he saying? How is that like me or like you or like anybody else? Where in your life have you ever encountered a situation like this? And then give me that. I'm surprised at how many times and how often the libretto is not addressed at all in productions that I've seen. When you have a really good libretto, it's all there for you. But I don't let them get away with just singing, I don't let them just produce sound, because my cat produces sound too, and I don't want to see it on stage. I don't like the chorus to just stand about and sing, like bowling pins. I want them to have a life, and that means that rehearsal is very arduous, because you have 30 people in the room, and you want to give each and every person a life of their own that looks like they are somebody in the party, that looks like they have a life and they're not just there to sing. So yeah, it is a big, big opera. It's all very wonderful to have a lot of emotion. That's great. And the more emotion that they have accessible, the more that they can play. But eventually you have to tame it all and give it a shape. Because life per se is not art. Art puts order into life. And so that emotions are fantastic, and if they're not there, again, why bother? And I have worked with pretty cool singers, and I prefer mine. The ones here, the ones I'm having right now, the ones who are breaking down every 5 minutes. And that's great, because it's there to be accessed. But eventually, all of that's nice and wonderful, and is good for rehearsals, but eventually it all has to take the shape of a work of art. It's a different work of art each time, but it still has to have shape and order to it. It can't be just wild and free, and much as we would like it to be. Is to give shape and form and still deliver a punch, Why should they go to the opera altogether? Because you turn on the television and you see such horrors. All we can do is throw back, Wagner and Verdi and Mozart and John Lennon and whatever. It's all we can do. If you turn on the television and you're in terrible distress, as I am every morning, perhaps going to the opera is a new experience that you've never had before, and that might, in a strange kind of way, might be a way of fighting back.
Che suscita l'amore, poiché quell'occhio il cuore